2004, 2 days before the very first film festival. I came to John Larkin with an idea. I didn't want to just walk out at the film festival and introduce the pieces. I didn't want to just play the student films. I wanted like a little intro piece to set the energy for the evening.
I remember being a junior in high school and Mike coming up to me in the studio, I think it was during the film class, and saying that he wanted to put together this kind of opening video, this kind of funny mishmash of movies to open up the event. But the festival was, I believe, only 2 days away.
The next day, the night before the film festival, right after school, we ran around, we shot all the footage we needed, got what we needed, came in the next day, and John got to it and started editing.
Mr. Anderson.
No, it's Mr. Goldstein. See, I have ID.
When the film festival began that evening, it started with our very first intro, and the rest was history.
You don't even think to call me Godfather.
Godfather, what can I do?
You can act like a man!
I find that what's fascinating about the film festival intros is that Mike somehow has the ability and the persuasive power to get people to show up on film, on digital video, doing things that they probably would never have done on their own.
The get is when you get that faculty member the audience would never expect to see in an intro, and it's a huge surprise to them. And when you cast that member, the get to me is knowing once they say yes to doing that part, that is going to be the moment in that year's film festival that everybody is going to love and enjoy and remember for a long time to come.
Turn step, over the top, turn step. Hey Steve, nice to see you. Come and work out with us.
You know, I'm a huge fan of Carmen Sandiego. It's historically and geographically accurate. What do you think about where in the new wing is Dr. Capuano?
I'll get back to you.
Where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
That I cannot do.
I'll give you anything you ask. So what comes to mind when you hear Film Fest intro? What comes to mind is organized chaos.
He picks a topic or a movie and he ropes in all these students and teachers, and we're all scrambling to get it filmed and edited and put together all in time before the film festival.
I think of a lot of things. I think about like years of like excitement and like film festivals and like the planning and how exciting it was.
When I think of the Film Fest intro, I think of it being this like, mysterious, elusive thing that I always try to figure out every year.
Mr. Goldstein, he always has an idea, and always in his mind he knows what he wants for the Film Fest intro. But he doesn't tell everyone. It's always a top secret thing.
Even if you helped on the intro, you still never knew everything that's gonna happen because you only ever got to know what happened in the part that you were a part of.
Only knowing the portion that I was working on was frustrating, but in the same way it gave me the drive to do my best and try my hardest because I didn't have any sort of reference for what everyone else was doing.
I really enjoyed only knowing the part that I participated in because I thought it was a fun surprise seeing what everybody else was working on for the first time.
Every year you want to do something a little different and you want to improve upon each previous year. You just want them to get better and better. And we did. The very first one was kind of a takeoff when Billy Crystal used to splice himself into the movies when he would host the Academy Awards in the 90s. That was takeoff. But we just did reaction shots. We'd have me doing something and we'd splice it with footage. The next year we stepped it up and used blue screen, inserting me into the scenes. The third year we did lightsabers.
I remember being in 8th grade and John Munzo and Dan Propora, frame by frame, adding a lightsaber beam to Goldstein's lightsaber fight in one of the first film festivals that I saw, and that just blew my mind. if there's a flaming skull in a movie and that happens to be the cutting edge technology, how can we recreate Goldstein walking around with a flaming skull head?
I helped out with the Top Gun and the Mad Men Film Fest intro. That was in 2014 and 2015. I did a lot of the CGI for the dogfight scenes in Top Gun, as well as the intro sequence for the Mad Men one. I am currently a mechanical engineer. I do a lot of CAD work, which is computer design work, but I started doing all of that in high school when I started doing computer-generated imagery, CGI for films and stuff. So working on my own films as well as working on the Film Fest intros and doing that CGI really helped me to get a firm understanding of how to make and design things in computer graphics.
Every year I go back to the film festival, I'm blown away because your movies now are, blow ours out of the water.
Usually, what Mike would do is he would tell me, we're going to give you this tiny little piece, this is your responsibility, and we'd like you to kind of work on this piece, and then I'd have to wait until I saw the intro to understand and recognize the context of what it is I'd completed.
Oh, look, a birdie.
That is horse crap.
You're gonna eat that?
When I think of Film Fest, it has to be Boris's catchphrase. That's horse crap. It's just, it's iconic.
That's horse crap. That's horse crap. That's horse crap. Horse
I feel like the Film Fest is sort of like a documentary on his life.
You hear a lot of things about actors, and Steve falls into the actor category, I think, at this point.
When Mike first asked me to participate in this, I was a little hesitant, to get on camera with bunny ears or maybe dress up like Yoda or some of the other shenanigans and hijinks. But, taking that chance changed my life. And I think that's what's most special about this. I got to express myself in new ways. I never knew I could do comedy. I knew nothing about the filmmaking industry. It was great to learn that. I got to grow as a person.
How and why was I asked to participate? Well, let's see. I was untenured. I was young and single. So, translation, I had a lot of free time.
What's with the cape? What are you, supposed to be some kind of superhero?
You like it? I found it in a tree. Anyway, look, this is the thing. Every year at the film festival, I'm the same guy. I've been typecasted as the guy in the photocopy machine. Machine, I want these collated. It's gonna end. I want more.
Parents would always bring it up at open house. Several times I'd be asked to give my autograph out. Students would see it, they'd be entertained, and I guess their first reaction would be probably, wow, Mr. Manganiello probably has no life. He's spending all this time filming in an intro.
I choreographed a fight scene for a music video in Goldstein's class, and Goldstein was the one who approached me and said, I loved your video, let's do a fight scene for this year's Film Fest.
I always wanted to get a little bit more action into the intro, and I thought by choreographing a really cool fight scene would be awesome. But I had to actually do a backflip and land on my belly on a mat to give the appearance in the air. And I haven't done a backflip off a diving board since I was in 10th grade. That was a lot of fun.
That put me on the path to stunt doubling. I never really knew that that was a career path I could choose, and I finally got all my union credits for stunt doubling last year.
When I hear Film Fest intro, I think of lollipops, rainbows, unicorns, an alligator, imagination, an alligator.
Alligator.
I found it absolutely thrilling to play an actor playing a performance. Thrilling. I did base him on some of the actors I rubbed shoulders with in the Royal Shakespeare Company.
I was the first alligator in the film festival.
I did a whole bunch of stuff. The first year that I was ever asked to do it, I held a boom pole, and I think my senior year I helped with like some makeup, costuming, and like I think I was in it even for like a second, or like I was there to be in it for like a second. So each year I helped in like a very different capacity.
I've acted in a number of Film Fest intros.
Go blow it out, your Shakespeare. This application must be applied roughly like thus.
No reason. People like Boba Fett. He didn't say anything. He never did anything. He was a lackey of the Empire, and yet some reason people think he is like the coolest character in the universe. And I helped Mr. Goldstein write the musical intro.
Our school is at peace with no sound of students.
I've played everything from Boris's love interest to someone who chases Boris and kicks his butt. Either way, he ends up saying horse crap sometime in the intro, and it's wonderful every year.
The 6th and 7th was a lot of sound, a lot of holding the boom, a lot of holding, setting up the shotgun mic. I actually did do a little acting in the 6th one. I had a couple lines.
Here we go.
I think I had a couple facial expressions I had to nail for the scene. I believe it was my hand that grabs Goldstein when he's face down in the water of the Inception opening. So yeah, these things are Oscar nominated.
Able to be a part of the behind the scenes, and I got to do old age makeup, and I got to be a part of like Nothing Suits Me Like a Suit parody, which is one of my favorites.
Greatest kind of skill. Nothing thrills me like a film.
Luckily, every time I participated in the intro, I avoided being in front of the camera.
First time was Film Fest 5. That was a very small role based entirely on the word crap.
It's horse crap. Crap. Crap makes me think about coprolites. We talk about coprolites down on my side of the school. Coprolites are fossil poo.
The second time was a much bigger role, had scripted parts for Film Fest 13 for the intro. And during that one, it involved a lot of marshmallows in a campfire.
Hey, who ate all the marshmallows?
Not me.
Really, Steve? You couldn't save any for us?
But
I've had cameos in a few of the intros. I think my favorite is probably the Inception one.
John Larkin? 6 years. And you still haven't named the Best Film Award after me. I didn't think you'd care.
Once I was an 80s dancer. Once I was an Attack of the 50-Foot Woman in the poster.
You are waiting for a train. A train that will take you far away.
I'm an English teacher.
Gosh, it's been an honor every single time, and I have great memories every single time I do it.
I participated in front of the camera and behind the camera, and I enjoyed both. You know, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
So I had a date with a teacher last night.
Really? With who?
Yes.
I appeared in an intro one time. In Film Festival 5. And I don't think it changed the way people looked at me at all. I mean, I think it was a pretty good reflection of myself.
I was featured in Matrix the Musical, and I played Trinity character alongside Joe Blue and many other classmates, which was a lot of fun.
One of my favorite gets of all time has to be Mr. Wing. At the time he was the middle school principal, but on screen playing the villain, singing and dancing while monologuing his evil plan to the audience.
I know it sounds sordid, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues, and our outcomes diligently squared. Be prepared.
But there is one get that stands above all the others.
Goldstein wanted to bring back previous, alumni who had worked on the film festivals, and the film fest just submitted films to the film festival, and we created a series of vignettes for the opening to do a parody of Citizen Kane, and that was really exciting. I was able to do a Goodfellas parody.
There was Paulie Prentice, always eating eggplant parmesan. Mean Jenny G. Tough grader. But it was good times. We were film fellas.
Right away I knew I was going to have to ask Mr. Lindia. Now, Mr. Lindia is no longer at the school, but for the students who remember him, they will remember that he was a presence in the school. Even if you didn't have Italian, even if you didn't know him personally, you knew who he was.
I made sure Jess Costa, who was doing the makeup for Mr. Lindia, they were in the classroom nearest to the cafeteria, but we taped up the window so no one can see in. We got the whole crew into the little mini cafeteria room where we filmed the scene. I told Andre, I said, make sure, Billy, for the very, very first practice shot, we're filming Mr. Boris because we wanted to get his reaction for this.
Unbeknownst to me, Mike had Frank Lindia, all 6'5" of them, waiting outside the door. And when I said, what am I, a clown? Do I amuse you like a clown?
Like a clown? Are you calling me?
What's wrong with being a clown? I just started screaming with laughter, with panic, with fear. I was happy and terrified and peeing myself all at the same time.
So what am I, some sort of clown? Huh? Here to amuse you? A clown, is that it?
What's wrong with being a clown? What's wrong with being a clown? Tell me, what's wrong with being a clown?
It was one of those, laugh out loud moments that you don't forget.
Beautiful writing, great director, and a wonderful cast to work with. Being a great lover of Shakespeare and having played Othello but not Iago. So I did not play him as a gangster, I played him as a patriarch.
Hey, yo, look, Boris, you got it all wrong here.
It's really amazing to think back at how much the festival has evolved and how much Mike thinks about, character and, what he has the teachers do and the students and what the storylines are. And, I mean, he's always trying to top himself.
Some level, I think he also wants to outshine what the students are going to end up producing for the film fest. He does.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. There is. There are some years where the films are coming in like really slow and I don't know what we have and I don't know whether it's going to be a great film festival or not. So I say, you know what, I'm just going to make a really, really awesome intro. So when people sit down to watch, it's the first thing they see. It's going to be so amazing. No one's going to care what the rest of the film festival is like. Yeah. But you know what, every year I feel that way, and every year the students come through at the end, and every film festival is phenomenal.
The films that are put out by this department under Mike Goldstein and with all the students and all the helpers, They're fantastic, and it's an honor being part of that.
There's no way this video could even explain it. I've traveled the world making films. I've done videos for the biggest artists in the world. I've toured with the biggest artists in the world. I opened my own film studio in Manhattan.
I currently do a lot of freelance photography and videography work for like events and stuff.
I am a gaffer. And a gaffer is in control of all the lights and electricity that runs on a film set. It's a pretty important job, and it's very rewarding. It's hard physical work most days, but at the same time, you do get this tremendous sense of accomplishment when you're able to craft the art form into looking the exact way that you and the cinematographer and the director had envisioned.
Film class had a huge impact on me because I kept with it through college, and now I'm working in the production field, and I couldn't enjoy it more.
The Eastchester Film Festival has always been something I'm just so lucky to have been a part of and to be a part of my life. I always say when people talk about how do you get into film, I talk about how I had such a great, amazing high school program through Eastchester, and the film festival is a part of it.
It has led me to where I am today. I'm a video editor for a live stream fitness company, and I still write on the side. You know, I'm an aspiring screenwriter.
It's pushed my life and my career in the direction it's gone in. I've always been involved in some form of production or event production, whether it be producing events for a company, working in a school environment. But no, I've always, since film class and since Eastchester, I've constantly been involved with film, and it's I wouldn't trade that time for anything.
You and I got unfinished business, Goldstein. You owe me a rematch, and I'm not gonna stop until I get it.
To have a place where you can be creative and have someone there that recognizes talent in people and supports them in that and encourages them, to me there's nothing better you can get at a school.
We reach an age where, as grown-ups, we think that certain things have to be put away or filed in our youth. And I think the film festival offers a lot of the people that have worked on the intro that opportunity to kind of reclaim that crazy inner child that hasn't gotten out in a while. I think that part of them, I find that amusing, uproarious, enormously endearing, and very funny.
At the end of the day, film is man's best friend.
Please keep asking me to do the film intros because I really have a lot of fun doing them.
I am still waiting for an award. Never got one, so I made myself one. Yeah, this is... Don't ask me where I got this.
It's a journey I never dreamt I'd be on. There's been so many twists and turns. Been a riddle wrapped in enigma, wrapped in pizza crust. It's like a calzone, except with film. Now I want a calzone.
When it comes down to it, we're always trying to figure out a way how to make things happen on screen. And there's a little saying that I came up with that it's not can we, it's how can we. And that's my challenge to everyone who comes into the room that when we try to make these intros.
Hi, I want everyone to understand clearly that I was never involved voluntarily in one of Mr. Goldstein's film fests. I performed completely under duress. While going to my car one day, a bag was put over my head. When I came to, I was in old age makeup, which to this day I haven't been able to remove. I was repeatedly shocked with an electronic device and prodded to say lines in front of a video camera, and everybody who was involved was speaking Russian. So if there was any kind of collusion, it was with
Mr. Goldstein.